Hello, Thaddeus here, coming to you with a unplanned testimony. I was just thinking about Kingdom Hall cleaning. Now, as witnesses, of course, we were expected to volunteer everything. One of the things was the cleaning of the Kingdom Hall. Now, typically, how JWs did it was it'd be divided by service group. So every week, one service group would take turns. Now, of course, this would vary from hall to hall depending on how many groups you had, how many congregations might actually be meeting there. Sometimes could be more, could be less, so you might have more work or you might have less work to be doing. And I was just thinking about every time that we cleaned, ever since I was a kid, that they have all the kids do the things that are hard to reach for the adults, like cleaning the metal parts of the chairs that all the Kingdom Halls seem to use, essentially the same style of chair, except sometimes with a gross teal green cloth, a maroon kind of brownish cloth, or sometimes a blue or beige cloth. Oh, it's kind of funny how it's almost like corporate standard across the board for them. Oh, how plain the buildings are. But just thinking about all the time we spent cleaning, all the chemicals we used, and obviously varying from hall to hall. Like my hall, there was a lot of people that had sensitivities, as actually all of us do, to toxic stuff. All have sensitivities, just some are more conscious of it than others. And we would make use of healthier products. Unfortunately, a lot of these brands have sold out, or it turns out, not as good as they thought. But there was always that subgroup in the hall that just wanted the cheapest possible, which is understandable when you're paying for it. All that time spent cleaning, washing the windows for free, the dusting, the vacuuming. Now, for a long period of time, I don't. Here's another thing that shows, a lack of Holy Spirit. How the service groups would be divided. Now, I know the elders tried to do it by travel time and everything to the hall, but our territory, while fairly linear, was not very wide. So the way that they'd ended up dividing the groups, it almost ended up being more by clique than by anything else. And my group just happened to land where it was almost entirely older ones, with the exception of one brother/family that was only here part of the year. I was the youngest in that group by 30 to 40 to 50 years. So a lot of the bulk of stuff would end up falling upon me. Now, the elder that was head of that group was very good with the snow shoveling and everything. But a lot of times the vacuuming of the entire hall, heading in, depending on my work schedule, no one else would be there, and vacuuming the entirety of the hall would fall upon me, for example, which I was completely fine with. But it got me thinking about a point that, and this is part of how witnesses argue, they try to justify one thing with another. So, to help try to justify the organization or the Watchtower's shortcomings, or of individuals' halls, they'll try to cover it over with, well, that most witnesses are good-hearted and that they have good intentions and that they're just overall good people, which is completely irrelevant usually to the points that are being brought up at hand. But I like to be fair, and I like to give credit where credit is due. So I will acknowledge that the organization is full of people who are very quick to volunteer. Now, we're not going to get into the motivations behind it because we don't know, so I don't want to say that it's just fear, obligation, and guilt. I believe that there are many genuine-hearted people in the org that volunteer their time, their energy, and their resources, which in actuality, the fact that there are so many people that are willing to do the cleaning work, the building work, time, material, the ministry work, most notable, which is another time sink, a resource sink, and then donating, and oftentimes if they get a windfall, donating even more. And then, what's other volunteering that's done? I just had it in my head and I lost it. It flew away. I let my mind wander and it didn't come back. It probably will after I branched off into another topic. But all the volunteering that's done, that's great. What does that have to do with Watchtower? Oh, food prep. There we go. I knew as soon as I branched off it would come back to me. The food prep, everything for like Pioneer School and stuff like that. But that's the members of the org, and it's hardly unique to Jehovah's Witnesses. This is something that's very normal and very common in a lot of organizations, whether they're religious or secular. Companies do it, and that's great. There's nothing intrinsically wrong with any of these things. What does it have to do with Watchtower? It has nothing to do with Watchtower. It is the individual members that can choose to be charitable or not. Watchtower just likes to take the credit, and that's not the credit that they deserve. And I just thought I'd mention that. And now I'm thinking just happy being out of the org, as that's an additional expense I don't have to worry about. Donating, supplying, and buying cleaning chemicals and everything, especially with the products that I buy now. They're not expensive, but they're not cheap. You get what you pay for. So your dollar store streak-free glass cleaner, yeah, blow it out of your... That's a load of garbage. And there's a trick to getting it streak-free, even if you don't have the proper equipment. But anyway, you get what you pay for. So, but I'm happy that I'm not in a circumstance where I would be donating my hard-earned time and resources to this organization anymore. And it's really simplified my life. That's my 7-minute testimony video for today. Kind of a short one. I'm in the wilderness, down by the river right now. Although in this state, when am I not in the wilderness? It's just a state of being. But yeah, hope you're all having a good day. And that's all. Thaddeus out.